If you recently purchased a Discovery scope or you purchased another scope and now you're trying to mount it, one of the things you're definitely going to need to purchase is going to be a good set of rings. So when it comes to rings, I mean, there is a whole big myriad of options from super cheap to quite expensive, depending on what you're looking for. You do want to make sure that you're going to get a good quality ring, which is going to mate that scope to the firearm. One of the biggest things that's going to be important with it, and it's going to be critical, is that you're going to get good contact, and because basically the scope rings are going to act as that connection point between the scope and the rifle that it is going to be put on. So from Discovery Optics, we are going to have this set of 34mm scope rings. So we have all three of them here. And the way that these are going to differ is going to be in size. So you're going to have a 0.97 inches or 1 inch high. You're going to have 1.26 or 1.25 inches high. And then you're going to have the high ones, which are going to be 1.45 inches. So let's take a look at just actually one of the rings, and then we'll take a look at the features, and then we'll kind of go over which one you should be looking for. So you're going to get these. They're going to come wrapped in a bubble wrapper, so they're definitely going to be protected. And then you are going to have the case. You can hang the case if you want to, and then you do have a sticker, and right on the front they are going to tell you what size height the scope rings are. Now, what's interesting is that they're also going to have scope rings available for 35mm scope tubes and also 30mm as well. However, a lot of the Discovery scopes and anything in the first focal plane reticle rifle scope is generally going to be 34mm tubes now. When you open it up, you're going to have pretty good presentation. You are going to have the scope rings themselves. I'm going to take one of these out. You are going to have 2 extra screws, and you are going to have a Torx wrench. So one of the things that I definitely do like about these is that they are going to use Torx screws. They are not going to be Allen, so with Torx you have more grip on there, so the wrench is far less likely to cam out. The rings themselves are going to be made out of aluminum. These are 7075 aluminum as opposed to a lot of the 6061. So 7075 is going to be a little bit more rigid, a little bit stronger, a little bit more premium aluminum. Now the other thing that you're going to notice is that inside it is going to be basically, well, it looks like a different color, and that's because these rings have been lapped as well to ensure concentricity. So when you're going to put your scope tube around through these, you're going to get a nice good grip on these, so that's definitely going to be a plus. A little bit, like these feel rigid, but also not like a super bulky type design. You're going to have 2 screws here on the bottom for the base, and then you're going to have a 2-screw design on top for each of the sides as well. You have a Discovery logo right on top, and one of the things that I definitely do appreciate is that they are going to have the Torx settings right here on the bottom. So for the bottom screws to the rail, it is going to be 30 inch-pounds, and then the top screws are going to be 20 inch-pounds. So you want to make sure that you do use a proper torque wrench. So you apply the proper torque, but you don't over torque it and end up damaging the tubes. Overall, very solid values. So which ones should you actually consider? And I'll include a picture of these right here. So we have the low, we have this one here is the high, the 1.45. So you can see just the height difference right there. And then here's the middle at 1.26, okay, which is going to be right here in the middle. So which one should you go for? What that's going to be is it's going to depend on the type of firearm that you're going to be mounting these rings to. If you are mounting it to, let's say, for example, a traditional bolt hunting rifle, where you're not going to have a front rail, then you can actually probably get away with using the 34mm 0.97 inch or 1 inch or the low rings. And really what you're looking for is for the bell housing of the scope in order to clear the clearance for the barrel. So if you're using a scope, let's say for example, with a 50mm front objective, these should definitely work for you. But if you are looking to get a little bit of higher cheek piece, or you want to build up, you don't want to like crouch over, you might want to consider getting something like a medium one, which is going to be 1.26 inches. Now, if you are using a modern sporting rifle and you are mounting a scope to that, and one of the things that you're going to have is there's going to be a rail in the front, so you don't have that extra space in the bottom, and you're using a 56mm front objective or something possibly a little bit bigger than that, then you're going to need to have extra clearance. So that's why you would go with the high or the 1.45-inch ones. Unfortunately, because it's an Amazon video, I can't show you right here how it works, but you can definitely imagine that. So bolt guns, you would want to go probably towards the lower one, and then if you're using it on a modern sporting rifle or a bolt rifle that has a front rail covering the barrel, or using a scope with a very large diameter objective, then you'd want to go towards the high. The worst case, if you go with the high rings, is that the front housing is going to, the bell housing is going to be slightly off of the barrel, so you just need to build up your position on the back end as well. And if you're using a stock which has an adjustable comb height, that's not going to be an issue for you as well. So this is the scope rings from Discovery Optics. They feel really good and seem like exceptional values for what you are getting.